So welcome back students to your YouTube channel Infinity Education. So those who are new to my channel, please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon for further notification of the videos. Along with please like and share these videos. Students, we have an interesting activity before beginning this video. So let's see what's the activity in front of you. So you have to identify the name of the apparatus. So I'm going to show the apparatus. This is the first image and this is the second image. Now students, you have 10 seconds to write those names of apparatus in the chat box. Please pause this video and write it down the answer. So I guess you have done your work. Okay, very good. So let's discuss one by one the apparatus. Okay, so you can see it. Firstly, we have an apparatus whose name acts as a tongs. So you can see it in the kitchen. Also, we have tongs to hold chapati. In the same, we have a tongs in the chemistry laboratory for holding any magnesium ribbon, silvery ribbon, or anything which we helps. It's very hot to it's damage our hands or eyes. So we use these types of apparatus. Second, you can see it's looking like a bowl, but it is not a bowl, students. It's a basically a china dish. Okay, this is the name of the apparatus, which is a china dish. Basically, whenever we take any of the substances which is in micro amount, very small amount, so we use this type of apparatus which is named as a china dish. Now students, you are thinking about why I'm showing these apparatus. So you are correct that we are going to perform an activity related to with these two apparatus. Okay, so let's see the activity. So activity is 1.1. So you can see it in the left hand side we have some steps, and then in right hand side there is an image related to this activity. So let's discuss firstly about this step, then we go with the right hand side image. Okay, so students, before going to any laboratory class in a chemistry laboratory, you have to take up precautions. You have to wear ear glasses because we are going to perform this activity with the Bunsen burner, which harmful for our eyes. So that's why we are using here eye lenses. Whenever you go to your chemistry laboratory, wear all the apparatus which is required to take precautions to save. Okay, we wear lab coat, ear glasses, shoes. So all these things are required to while doing a activity. Okay, so we have a first step which is a clean magnesium ribbon, which is about 3 to 4 centimeter long, and you have to burn rubbing with its sandpaper. So you have to rub with the sandpaper. You are thinking about why we are taking magnesium ribbon and we are going to rub with a sandpaper, because students, you know, magnesium ribbon is highly reactive with the oxygen. So that's why it's there is form a layer. To remove that layer, we need a sandpaper, so we get a silvery layer. The second step in front of you is that you have to hold with the pair of tongs. Okay, then you have to burn using a spirit lamp or a Bunsen burner. Then you have to collect the ashes which is formed in the watch glass, which is shown in the figure. So this is a watch glass. You can see there is some ashes coming out while burning. So you have to collect it. Okay, students. One important point, burn the magnesium ribbon, keeping it away from as possible from your eyes, because I told you now it's very highly reactive. So you have to take precautions while burning. Okay. And students, most important point, you have to observe everything. What do you observe? I'm going to ask you later on. So you just see it carefully. So this is a Bunsen burner. We have a tongs, magnesium ribbon. It's going to be burning. And the watch glass into we have a ashes of the magnesium oxides. So let's see the virtual laboratory I have for you. So where you can see the burning of a magnesium ribbon. So So students, in front of you, your virtual laboratory where we burning of a magnesium ribbon, which is activity 2.1. So you can see we have a laboratory which is in a rotation form also. You just click mouse button in any direction and you just virtualize from the upward, backward, or from front view. Any view you can virtualize it also. So students, in front of you there is one apparatus which we have. One is a Bunsen burner, second we have in a plate we have a magnesium ribbon along with the tongs. So whenever, let's explore this virtual laboratory, whenever you click on this I button, you can see the names of their apparatus going to be reflected in front of your screen. So this is a Bunsen burner, magnesium ribbon and tongs. So you can look it out from any of the direction. So whenever you click on the burn button, then the magnesium ribbon will going to be burned and with the help of our tongs. So let's click on burn. So students, please look at it carefully. What your observation? Later on, I'm going to ask your observation. What do you find it out? Yes. So after when we burn magnesium with the oxygen which is present in this gas, after burning we get a magnesium oxide which is here in the plate. So students, if you want to reset this button, click on reset and you get the again the apparatus. And if you're going to explore this book button, just click on this book button. You get some statements regarding this reaction. So here it is written, it's a state change of a magnesium to magnesium oxide, and also the state in change is one of the observations to determine it is a chemical reaction. Okay, so just click on cross to go it back, and this is a reset button. Just click on reset. So again we get our same apparatus, and if you click on home button, you just go to the home page of this. So this is all about the burning of a magnesium ribbon. So now students, let's discuss the result. I know you can see in the video of a magnesium is burning with oxygen and we get magnesium oxide with the dazzling flame. You can see it, right? So let's see the statement for the result of this experiment. So we have magnesium ribbon is burnt in oxygen. It gets converted to magnesium oxide. Now students, you are thinking about such a long statement we have for any chemical reaction. So do we have any shorter way of writing any reaction into smaller way, right? Yes, we have students. To write any magnesium ribbon is burnt in oxygen. It's a such long statement, then we get magnesium oxide. So we have a way of writing a long statement into shorter statements or shorter way. So that is called as a word equation. So let's talk about firstly the word equation. What is word equation? So word equation is a chemical reaction expressed in the words. It helps to identify the reactants and the product in a chemical reaction. So it also is written in the words and you can easily identify what are the reactants and the product in a chemical reaction. So next we have a word equation shows the rate change of reactants to product through an arrow placed between them. So you can note, see it, we have some reactants. So we have some reactants. Let's see the reactants I'm going to represent for R, and we have some product and we have any arrow. So let's see which kind of arrow we have. So we have some rules regarding word equation. So first, the reactants are written on the left hand side with plus between them. So if we have more reactants such as R along with R1 along with R2, so you have to place in between plus sign, so that will shows that two reactants are reacting. Okay, so if we have product, which is written on the right hand side with along with the plus sign between them, as we can see in the reactants. Along with it, we have an arrow ahead points towards the product and shows the direction of the reaction. So how? So we have a reactance R1 plus R2, and we have an arrow which is forward, and P1 plus P2. So that way we can write any word equation. So we know that chemical reactions are, it is irreversible or reversible, students? Yes, it is irreversible. So that's why we have an arrow which is only in the forward, not a backward direction. Okay. So in front of you, one more question is there. So this is the photosynthesis process in which sunlight is required and carbon dioxide along with water. So these are the three reactants are required for further chemical process, and the product we can get as the oxygen and sugar. So let's see how we can write it down, the word equation for this reaction. So we have a carbon dioxide plus water plus sunlight that gives arrow in the forward and gives sugar plus oxygen. So that way you can write it down. So we come to know that these are the reactants and these are the product, and they are written on the left hand side and they are written on the right hand side. So you can work upon this way of writing a word equation. Okay, now students, it's your turn to participate. You have to straight true and false. You just write it down, your answer in the chat box. I'm going to show the question for this. The question in front of you is this. In the word equation, the product are written on the left hand side, LHS, and reactants are written on the right hand side of the reaction. Is it a correct statement or not? Just pause this video and write it down your answer. So I guess you have done your work. So very good. So students, basically it's a false statement, because you know that a product always written on the right hand side, right? As we know that whenever we have any reactants, from there we get product. So from this simple way you can see that reactants always written on the left hand side, not a right hand side. So this is a false statement, students. Very good. Now students, one more image in front of you is there. So you can see there is one chemical reaction which is a rusting of iron. The silvery irons turned into brownish color because of a moisture. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to identify the reactants and the product of this reaction and also write the word equation. So firstly, let's talk about the reactants. I can see that made up iron's nails are made up of iron. So we have Fe for iron, and we can see that it exposed to oxygen. So we have reactants which is iron plus oxygen, and product we can see it's a iron oxide, right? So we have reactants along with product. So how we can write the word equation? Just simple. You can write it down, the iron plus oxygen on the left hand side, arrow in the forward direction, and the product in the right hand side. So that way it's a word equation, we can write it down. Okay. Now students, you have to write a word equation of a chemical reaction which occurring in our space. You just think about some examples which is occurring in your day-to-day life, any chemical reaction. So in my mind, there is something coming out. If I talk about the formation of water, for water we need hydrogen and oxygen. So that's way we can get water. So for the formation of water, we have hydrogen plus oxygen that gives a water. So we have this is a word equation. These are the two reactants along with a one arrow which is in the forward direction, and the product we have a right hand side. So this is a example of a word equation. Okay. Now students, this is one of the important question in front of your screen. You have to read this statement and the four options are in front of you. So just read the statements and write it down your answer in the chat box. Meanwhile, read it carefully, okay? And pause the video till that time. So I guess you have done your work. So let's check the answer for this. So in the question is given to you, hydrogen gas combined with nitrogen to form ammonia. So when we can see that the hydrogen and nitrogen are the two reactants and they give a product. So let's see which one is the correct option. So we can see hydrogen plus, here some mistake in the spelling of the hydrogen. So it is not a correct one. This is got wrong. This is also got wrong. And this is again we can see the mistake of the spelling, along with you can see here arrow in the backward direction, that is also wrong. And the last option, which is hydrogen, is right, and with nitrogen, and the arrow is also correct, and ammonia is also correct. So that means the D option is correct for this answer. So thank you students for today's session. We will meet in the next video with the continuing topic. Thank you.